In this video, we will examine the key differences between an invention and an innovation. Both can lead to successful business ventures, but there is a significant difference between the two. To improve our understanding of this important topic, we will look at an inventor and an innovator who both ended up having very different levels of success. Many entrepreneurs and students often confuse the words innovation and invention. This is a common error, and it's best that we get this resolved early on. So what's the difference between the two, an invention and an innovation? Well, the difference is subtle but crucial. It's best not to trust your dictionary in this situation. Just like me, when you don't understand a word, you probably look it up in the dictionary. Unfortunately, in this case, this is not going to help us very much, as even their definitions are pretty confusing. So let's take a look at what it actually says. Invention is defined as something that has never existed before, created or designed by the originator. Whereas in the dictionary it says an innovation is defined as something new, like a product or a method. It's understandable, looking at these definitions, that you're still a little confused, as they do appear very similar. An invention is something new, and an innovation is something new. I imagine you're a little lost. Some dictionaries even go as far as to say the two words mean exactly the same thing, but the words are different, trust me. So now we understand that innovation and invention aren't the same. Let's try and unravel how they are actually different. Inventions are created by the originator, and no other products like them have come before. It is brand new. Nobody has ever seen anything like it until that particular point. So the first light bulb was an invention, the first car, the first television. But inventions aren't always that popular, and often never become very successful until they are used for another purpose. To all the teachers out there, show all of these videos without any ads and gain access to our growing library of over 500 teaching worksheets. Why not visit BizzWizard.co.uk to find out more? In this video, we're going to look at two main examples. We're going to look at both an inventor and a famous innovator. Before we explore what an innovation actually is, let's meet the first of these examples. This is E.A. Johnson, and he created the very first finger-controlled touchscreen back in 1965 at the Royal Radar establishment. For most of you, the idea of touchscreen technology is not particularly exciting, as it's been around for a long time. But as you can imagine, that has not always been the case. In his article, Touch Display, a novel input-output device for computers, Johnson described his touchscreen mechanism and revealed his invention to the world. This invention that he had went on to be used by air traffic control until the 1990s to make managing air traffic systems much easier. It was a pretty impressive invention at the time, but it was only ever used by the air traffic control. You're probably thinking, why didn't they just put it straight into mobile phones and computers? In fact, I would be very, very surprised if any of you have heard of E.A. Johnson, as his invention was not widely used, and he certainly is not a well-known name in the tech world. But then I would imagine almost all of you have heard of our second main example, Steve Jobs, one of the founders of Apple. Steve is a household name and has delivered a number of groundbreaking products to the market, such as the iPod, iPhone, iPad, and MacBook. But actually, Steve took E.A. Johnson's initial invention and he put it to a much better use in the form of many of these devices that millions of us use on a daily basis. And this brings us nicely around to innovation. So what is it? What does it mean? An innovation is an improvement to an existing product or idea, often changed in some way by giving it a completely new purpose or by the introduction of new ideas and new technology. Innovations are better versions, used for better purposes or with more features than what came before. Many revolutionary products of our time are actually innovations of previous technology, something that came before it was invented, but then as time went on, these inventions were innovated and improved to form the products that we know and love today. Steve Jobs is one of the most famous and successful innovators of our time. He is renowned as the visionary of Apple, somebody who can revolutionize anything. Some of his most famous products, the iPhone, iPod and Mac, were called the greatest inventions of their time. But none of these revolutionary products are actually real inventions. The Mac was an extremely improved version of personal computers of the day, and it went on to see great sales. The iPod was simply a Walkman that could hold more songs and had improved battery life. Even the iPhone was only an innovation. It was a phone, an iPod, and an internet browser all rolled into one, but yet each of these things had previously already been invented. Bring this video and over 100 more to life with fun, interactive games, quizzes, and case studies. Why not try the first 25 completely free by visiting BizzWizard.co.uk. So, you may be asking yourself, which is better, innovating or inventing? And this is a particularly difficult question to answer. As we have already discussed, you have likely not heard of E.A. Johnson, but you have heard of Steve Jobs. In almost every case, the innovator is more famous than the inventor, and the innovator will usually get the credit for all of the hard work put in by the inventor. However, just because innovators such as Steve Jobs are more famous, this does not necessarily mean that they are better. Without invention, there could simply be no innovation. While the inventions might not be as cool as the innovations, they are just as important to the final product and must come before any innovation can actually take place. Think of it like this. Inventors are the mad scientist characters who come up with awesome technology, and the innovators are the entrepreneurs who are able to see the potential of this invention and deliver it into the hands of the consumer. They should be considered, in my opinion, as equally important. Each of the video courses over at BizzWizard.co.uk also includes an interactive business case study that applies the knowledge learnt to a real-world scenario. There are over 1,000 multiple-choice questions, each with detailed feedback, which tests students' understanding of the content. Why not visit BizzWizard.co.uk to find out more? In very few cases, a product can be an invention and an innovation at the same time. However, it is difficult to find examples. This is because when a new invention is created, it is strange and unknown to the consumer. It therefore takes the process of innovation to turn the invention into a popular product that meets the needs of the customer. As we have discussed, innovations and inventions are far from being the same thing. An invention is something that never existed before, a brand new technology or process. Innovations, on the other hand, take this invention and apply it in a way that makes it popular to the target consumer and aims to earn a profit. But neither a successful innovation or invention will make a business automatically successful. The product creation process is just one small step on a long journey to building a fantastic business. You could have the greatest product ever known to mankind, but without the people, processes and promotion needed to get it into the hands of the consumer, it may never be the success that you believe it can be. This has been the BizzWizard. See you in the next video.